How do we get unstuck? To answer that, I want to share with you a simple 3-step formula that will not only help you get the results you're looking for, but to get out of the traps that we set for ourselves that slows down our progress. Because we've all been there before. We've all been stuck in one form or another. In the context of health, we call it hitting a plateau. In a relationship, perhaps you find yourself in a rut, or in a career, you feel like you're burning out, hitting the daily grind day after day, wondering when will it ever end. Whatever you want to call it, it's essentially that feeling of stuck, like we should be making more progress than we actually are. So to answer that, let's jump in and take a look at that success formula that I refer to as the performance equation. Now, one of the things I love about the performance equation, which we're about to get into, is number one, that it's really, really simple. You'll be able to easily identify where you're getting stuck and then what to do about it. It's also portable, so you can take it with you wherever you go, at work, at home, because you don't need a binder or a manual to remember how to use this model. And also it's very, very flexible. You can use it personally, professionally, in really every area of life as you go forward. So to jump in, let's take a look at what the performance equation really is all about. So the performance equation is thinking plus feeling plus behaving equals results. And this is adapted from cognitive behavioral therapy and the cognitive triangle founded by Dr. Aaron Beck. And what I love about putting it in this format is it makes it really simple to see how these pieces all line up. Now, I know we're adding them up right now, but if you really were to think about it, it's not just thinking plus feeling plus behaving equals results. We actually would want to flip it around a little bit and turn that plus sign into a multiplication. I know there's math here, but what are you going to do? And why I put that distinction in is that if there's a 0 in any one of these spots, this is where we get stuck. This is where the whole formula falls apart and we're not going to be getting the results that we're looking for. So if our thinking is not in alignment, that's a 0 there, then no matter what we have in the emotions and the behavior, we're probably not going to be producing the results that we're looking for. Same thing for feeling and same thing for behavior. So we need to have a positive. Ideally, we want to be at 100% on the thinking, the feeling, and the behaving to get the results that we're actually looking for. So yes, I refer to it as thinking plus feeling plus behaving equals results, but really it's a multiplication. So we want to make sure that we identify, where are we having that goose egg? Is it thinking? Are we being stuck in the mental level? Are we stuck in the emotional level? Or are we stuck at the level of taking action before we get the results? Because I know we all want to take action to get the results, but sometimes it's our inner game that prevents us from actually doing the things that we want to do. So the first thing that you want to do is identify the gap. Identify where you're getting stuck. And then simply, once you identify where that goose egg is, where that hole in your path is, we then want to fill the gap. It's as simple as that. So once, like I said, it's really simple, portable, and flexible. But once you identify where you're getting stuck, then it's about what strategy I want to employ to fill in the gap so we can actually get the results that we actually are looking for. Let's go ahead and break this down with a couple examples. Let's imagine that you have a presentation that's coming up. If you look at the thinking plus feeling plus behaving equals results model, and obviously you want to deliver a solid presentation, if you look at all three of those and you're good to go, your thoughts are in alignment, you have positive beliefs and intention and focus, your emotions are dialed in, you're feeling really confident, and you know how to deliver it. You scripted it out, you have everything planned out, and you have the skills to deliver that presentation. Well, there's not going to be any gaps. So you're going to be rocking it out and you're not going to be stuck in a place of procrastination. However, let's say that you're not completely dialed in on the presentation and you're feeling some nervousness, you're feeling some anxiety, and you're feeling stuck in relation to your presentation. Well, easily we can think about anxiety as being an emotional or mental issue, and that might be where the gap is. However, what I recommend is start with the behavior, start with the external first, check on that, and if that isn't the problem, then take a look internally. For example, let's say that we're looking at our anxiety around a presentation. I would just go right to behavior. Why am I feeling anxious? Have I done the physical work that I need to do to prepare for that presentation? If I haven't prepared my slides, prepared my outline, or practiced the presentation at all, Well, of course I'm going to be feeling nervous. It has nothing to do with emotional baggage I might be carrying from the past or my belief system about whether or not I can deliver a successful presentation. So a lot of times you'll look, the simplest thing we need to do is check in and say, have you done the work to prepare for this project or whatever task it is that you're actually looking for? Now, let's say that we look and we have done the process of preparing. So we have an outline. We've prepared. We've practiced dozens of times, but we're still feeling some emotion. Then maybe perhaps we realize, you know what? The problem is not that I haven't practiced. The problem is actually at an emotional level. Well, that's what's keeping me in this feeling of stuck. And so I have to handle that one. Or we go into the mental. We realize, no, it's my belief system, my mindset, or I'm focusing on the worst thing that can happen, which of course is going to have a trickle down effect. So maybe it's not just one X, maybe there's actually an X in all of these because my negative thinking is causing me to feel negative emotions, which means I'm not practicing because I might probably just call the whole thing quits altogether. So you're not limited to only one X here. I'm just kind of isolating and illustrating how it would work if you had a breakdown in one. And if I have a breakdown in one, it's going to impact obviously the other three as well. So what we want to do is take an inventory. Think about the result that we want to get that we're not making progress on. That's what being stuck is. And then want to backtrack. Start with the behaviors, then look at the mental and emotional, the thinking and the feeling, identify where that gap is. Let's look at another example, and then we'll talk about how we can actually fill that gap. So let's say that we want to start a business. That's our goal. And we're not making any progress on it. We've been talking about it for years. We have the business model. We have the plan. We've talked to other people. We've done market research. And there is a need out there, and there's a niche or a niche, however you want to call it, that is ready to be served. And we're not doing it. We're not pulling the trigger. Well, let's back up. Let's go through the same process. Why am I not moving forward? I'm feeling stuck in this entrepreneurial venture that I want to get into. Well, have I done the work? Have I done the business plan? If that's a yes, that's probably a check mark there. We're probably good to go. Okay, so I have everything laid out. I have the money, I have the plan, I have the resources, I have the team, but I'm still not launching, then it's probably on the mental or it's on the emotional. You got to do that internal search to figure out, is it my belief? Is it my focus? Am I focusing on what can happen or what I think the worst can happen? Do I have fear inside? And then we have to figure out, how do we actually resolve that? So what are some of the basic strategies as a universal approach to solving these gaps? So now we know how to find the gap, whether it's thinking, feeling, or behaving. What do we actually do now that we know where the gap is? Well, if it's a problem in the area of thinking, well, we might want to refocus, might want to reframe or retrain our brain to focus on what we really need to do so we have positive thoughts so that it's not a goose egg in that area. If we're having emotional issues, well, instead of fighting the emotion, listen to the emotion. What is the emotion actually saying to you? I refer to that as embracing the emotion. Our emotions actually are there as messengers from the unconscious mind. So listen to your unconscious. It's trying to tell you something. And quite oftentimes that message is, you need to go for it. You need to go for it, or you need to practice and design everything so you can maximize your success going forward. On the physical level, maybe there's some actions that we need to take. Maybe we need to get some data, increase our skill, or do some preparation or practice that we haven't done. So identify the gap and then look at what's missing. And then all we have to do is figure out, okay, how do I actually fill that gap? Do I need to change my focus? Do I need to shift my emotional interpretation, what these emotions actually mean? Perhaps the anxiety you're feeling really is just a level of excitement, because the truth is, if it wasn't important to you, you wouldn't be feeling any anxiety at all. And sometimes on the physical level, we just need to take action. We just need to go for it, and we just haven't done it, and that's why it's all there for us as well. Now, one other bonus tip I want to share with you in addition to the performance equation is the importance of accountability. Accountability. There's this concept that we tend to do more for others than we do for ourselves. So if you are feeling stuck, yes, go through the performance equation. Thinking plus feeling plus behaving equals results. Find where the gap is and then fill in the gap based on the things we've already talked about in this video. And more importantly, have someone else out there holding your feet to the fire and making sure that you're not letting hours turn into days, into weeks, into months on the projects that are really important to you. So find a colleague, a mentor, a coach, a leader, a friend, someone in your life who can hold you accountable. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. And if you're not opposed to it, hit subscribe to stay connected and ring the notification bell to join the conversation. Until next time, develop yourself, empower others, and lead by example.